How many of you have found a mysterious bottle of liquid called Nukashine and thought, how bad could it be? Then drank it, saw the world change around you, before blacking out and ending up in a weird place. In this episode of Stories of Pre-War Appalachia, we're going to deep dive into the story of the infamous Nukashine. Hi there, Nerdy Jane here, and welcome back to my channel, where we take a deeper look at stories and try to find hidden lore throughout a lot of different games. Right now I'm on a Fallout kick, so if there are other locations or stories you want me to do a deep dive into around Appalachia, put them in the comments below. Alright, let's dive right into Nukashine, shall we? Our story starts on Fraternity Row near Vault Tec University. For once, they're not the bad guys on this one. Eta Psi Epsilon Tau was the egghead fraternity, and yes, I did Google that. In fact, the Et Pets, as they called themselves, had to be studying chemistry as a major or minor and have a GPA of 3.85 or higher in order to be part of the fraternity. The chapter president was Judy Lowell. The chapter was hurting for new pledges, but that changed when one of their members started to experiment. You see, Lewis had an unhealthy obsession with Nuka-Cola, decorating his room from floor to ceiling in memorabilia, wallpaper, signs, statues, you name it. When Lewis ran out of space, he had to make a choice: stop collecting or find a bigger space. So he found a warehouse where he could continue his collecting. But this, along with procuring new collectibles, would cost money. As a college student, he knew that the most profitable thing he could make was alcohol. So he started to find a way to turn Nuka-Cola into alcohol. Which, I mean, they already have an alcoholic drink, it's called Nuka-Cola Dark, but okay, Lewis, you do you. Judy saw this as a way to bring in new pledges and fund future Et Pets activities, and took the idea one step further, suggesting that they open a speakeasy right in Morgantown for college students, choosing the basement under Big Al's Tattoos as the location. Lewis moved the necessary equipment there and started to experiment more and more with his new beverage, even procuring a robo-brain called Biv from General Atomics to test out the drinks, as his mom worked at that company. We do love Biv, though. This new drink was dubbed Nukashine. Judy, upon realizing what Lewis was using to make the Nukashine, locked the storage room to keep all the other Et Pets out to ensure no one else knew the full recipe. Spoiler alert, it was nuclear waste. Which, okay, yeah, that's bad, but Nuka-Cola already had radioactive chemicals in it, so it's not the craziest thing to include more, right? Kind of unethical, but anyway. At this point, it was too late to stop the Nukashine initiative. The speakeasy was already set up, and all of the Et Pets were invited to the biggest party of the year, held by Pi Kappa Mu fraternity house, after throwing their own Nukashine launch party. And Pi Kappa Mu expected them to bring Nukashine to their party. Judy, concerned by the secret ingredient, went ahead with the plan and hoped for the best. Now, if you make your way to the speakeasy, you will see that it's pretty clean, as if it never was actually open to the public. That's because it didn't. The party ruined everything. Or maybe the bombs did. Let's talk about it. To understand why the party ruined it, or why I think the party ruined it, we have to talk about Pi Kappa Mu for a second. They were the exact opposite of the Et Pets. Their whole fraternity centered around partying, drinking, pulling pranks, that kind of thing. The chapter president, Ted Dorfman, was far more focused on getting blackout drunk every day and hazing new pledges than actually running the chapter, and cared very little about the members, to the point where people were actually leaving the fraternity. It wasn't just that they were losing members. They were also about to be shut down by Vault Tec University for a long list of infractions, including malicious destruction of campus property, repeated breaches of anti-hazing policies, furnishing alcohol to minors, fire and health code violations, disorderly conduct, and failure to maintain their lawn. Instead of shaping up, Ted decided to throw one more party, an eviction party, where they would trash the house before being forcibly removed by campus police. The night of the party, Pi Kappa Mu members were drinking and having a great time when the Et Pets showed up. They started handing out Nukashine, and Pi Mu members were all going to drink together as a toast to being evicted, even giving a glass to each of the pledges, who were handcuffed in the laundry room. Everyone drank the Nukashine except for one of the pledges. And this is where it gets dark, like blacking out after drinking Nukashine dark. You see, Nukashine isn't a simple alcoholic drink. It causes people to tweak out, hallucinations, physically feeling like their body is separating, items change to nightmarish forms, etc. Mix this with the other alcohol people were drinking, and it probably wasn't a pretty sight. Most people probably hadn't experienced anything like that before, and more than likely couldn't handle it. Panic ensued, and I'm sure some people may have even attacked friends during their hallucinations. and perhaps the drink itself poisoned people directly? Now, this should have been the end of the story, but honestly, I have some questions and theories about this whole thing, and it heavily depends on when the party took place. The dates are important, so let's break this down a little bit. So we know that the eviction notice was sent on 10/20/2077, with immediate action being threatened by campus police if they didn't leave the premises. Now, I doubt the frat bros would have waited too long to have a party, so my first few theories depend on the party happening on the evening of 10/20 or 10/21, meaning the party would have ended at the latest on the morning of 10/22/2077. So my first question then is, why weren't the bodies removed by campus police? Surely they knew that this party was happening. I mean, there was posters all over the campus. And if the party took place on 10/20/2077, presumably the campus police would have arrived to remove them on 10/21/2077, or maybe 10/22. So why is everything exactly how it was when the party happened? My theory is that Vault Tec is either incompetent or didn't want to deal with it. If the university even bothered to send the campus police to deal with the eviction, I can see them taking one look at all the bodies and just, nope, all good, didn't see anything. Let someone else deal with it. Or perhaps they did the right thing and called the police to investigate it, and perhaps they dropped the ball. I think the most likely scenario is that the university never made good on their threats and just decided to give Pi Kappa Mu members more time before they evicted them. And while they waited, the bombs hit and nothing mattered anyway. My second question, did the Et Pets drink the Nukashine, lose their minds, and die as well? It's hard to say, but I don't think so. At least not all of them. Judy knew what was in the Nukashine and knew that it just wasn't good for the human body. I would guess that they may have discouraged the other members not to drink it, but outright telling them not to would have looked bad while they were at the party. Anyone that didn't drink it would have seen everyone collectively lose their minds and would have probably ran back to their place, packed their bags, and left, and would have faced the end of the world a few days later anyway. Whether they drank it or not, no one cleaned up their house. The Et Pets threw their own party to celebrate the release of Nukashine. Some confetti, streamers, and party hats are still around, but otherwise the house is fairly clean. This probably means that the Et Pets either died or hightailed it out of town after the thing that they had been working on killed people. The third and final question I have, if the party actually was held on the 20th or the 21st, did Lewis do all this on purpose? Did he know this batch would cause the deaths of dozens of his fellow students? We find out that the Pi Kappa Mu house was not kind to the Et Pets, especially Lewis. They were constantly teasing them, calling them eggheads, and even had plans to prank them before they learned about Nukashine and wanted to use it at their parties. In particular, Ted, the chapter president, called Lewis names and made fun of him, which Judy told him to stop doing if he ever wanted Nukashine at his parties. And Nukashine doesn't actually kill people. Sure, we tweak out and black out if we drink it, but nothing bad happens to us. Not really. So did Lewis add something to this batch to kill everyone at the party? I'm definitely on the fence about this one. On one hand, yeah, they were mean to Lewis and he had reasons to get his revenge. He was a recluse at this point and only really had Biv to talk to as he shoved more drinks into the tester robot. Maybe he saw this as his chance for revenge. And you may be thinking, but his friends were at the party, the other Et Pets, and Judy. Surely he wouldn't want to harm them. Well, Lewis had socially cut himself off from everyone else at this point, focusing solely on his Nukashine experiments. So did he actually see any of them as friends anymore? Or darker yet, did he see them as competitors? Remember, he started all of this to afford a warehouse and to expand his Nuka-Cola memorabilia collection. With the Nukashine initiative being an Et Pets thing, he would have to share the profits with Judy and the rest of the chapter. But if they were all gone, he could keep the profits for himself and just think of all the knickknacks he could buy. On the other hand, it's very possible that he tested the drinks on Biv, assuming a human would be able to handle the same level of radioactive material as the robo-brain did, seeing as they're both human brains technically. This could have just been a miscalculation, and he sent the kegs of Nukashine to the party without knowing the truth. Everyone at the party tweaked out, like the person that we hear in the holotape outside of the speakeasy, and whammo, everyone died. The other option is, did the party happen on the 22nd? In the basement, we can hear a holotape from the pledge that didn't drink the Nukashine. He mentions that everyone that drank it was fine until they weren't, and then he recalls that damn sound. This could mean a few things. He could be talking about the sound of people ripping each other apart, or collectively losing their minds to hallucinations caused by the Nukashine. This would point to my first few theories. Or he could be talking about the sound of the bombs dropping on the morning of 10/23/2077. This means that the only person who really would have died to Nukashine is the person dead on the mattress next to him. And the rest of the bodies that we find in the frat house would have died in the blasts and nuclear fallout. I'm on the fence about this timeline. I like the idea that Lewis may have been responsible for the deaths of the partygoers in the frat house, but I may also be looking too deep into it and we can just blame the deaths on the bombs. I don't know, that seems kind of boring to me. Everything ends with the bombs, I guess, but I like the idea that this happened just before the bombs dropped. I don't know, that's my theories. What do you think happened at the eviction party? Do you think it was ended by the bombs? Do you think it was ended by Nukashine? Let me know in the comments below. And that's the story and my theories about Nukashine. This was way longer than I thought it would be coming into this video, but the more I thought about the story of Nukashine, the more theories I kept coming up with. I mean, did Lewis mean to kill everyone at the party? Did he not kill anybody at the party, minus the one pledge? I don't know, honestly. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm really interested to hear what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching if you made it to this point. If you like these deeper dives, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to catch the next one. And until we meet again, dry off, have a nice glass of Nuka-Cola, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Overcome by the Vault's giving nature, the group of men threw down their weapons and joined the fold. Of course not, they shot them.